Call to order the meeting of the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees this Thursday, July 25, 2024. At this point, I'd like to all of us to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll ask Secretary Dooley to call the roll.
Trustee Bartlett.
Here.
Trustee Burke.
Here.
Trustee Crawford.
Here.
Trustee Dooley, I'm here. Trustee Goalapu.
Here.
Trustee Helvangus.
Here.
And Trustee Stern.
Here.
All trustees are here and present today, and then our two student representatives are absent and excused.
Correct.
First item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Everybody has a copy of the agenda. Any comments to the agenda?
Move to approve. I will second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any discussion? No discussion? Secretary, would you call the vote?
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Crawford.
Yes.
Trustee Dooley, I say yes. Trustee Helvangus.
Aye. Trustee
Goalapu.
Yes.
Trustee Stern.
Yes.
And Trustee Bartlett.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of two items: the approval of the minutes of June 27, 2024, and the approval of the claims and warrants for accounts 271 and 272, which are reflected on pages 12 through 15 in our handout.
Move to approve. Second.
Been moved and approved to, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Secretary, would you call the vote?
Trustee Crawford.
Yes.
Trustee Dooley says yes. Trustee Helvangus.
Aye.
Trustee Goalapu.
Yes.
Trustee Stern.
Yes.
Trustee Bartlett.
Yes.
And Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
We are honored tonight to have a presentation by the Chinshu American Corporation. I believe Alicia Hendershot is going to make the presentation with Julie.
Yes, I'm going to introduce actually three individuals from Shinsho American Corporation this evening. First is the president, Makio Ono, and vice president, Akiro Moria, and Alicia Hendershot, the HR manager. So thank you, all three of you, for joining me this evening. This is the second year that Shinsho American Corporation has generously supported the Novi Public Library. This year's donation will go towards new initiatives in the iCube Makerspace. As you know, this space continues to gain interest and is a destination place for all things creative at the Novi Public Library. We are so honored to accept the generous check that you are giving us this evening so that we can put it towards our creative space. As all of you know, we've had this space now, it'll be 5 years next year, actually this year it celebrated 5 years. So 2019 we opened the space, and even with having a little bit of a stint with COVID, this particular space has become very popular in our library. All ages are able to benefit from the space, and it's an opportunity for people to explore and be creative and learn new hobbies by utilizing this public space. So I'm just so pleased and so appreciative of the gift that you are giving us this evening. Thank you very much. We'll do an actual photo if you don't mind. We'd love for you to join us. Thank you. Please come this way. Mark, will you join me?
Sure.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm going to ask Kat.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Go ahead. Do you want some, what do you think would be good? Do you want the flags?
Flags are lights in.
Okay.
Let me move it. Should we could always, get a photo bomb. Photo bomb.
And 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. I want to welcome you up to the podium if you'd like to say something. Okay? Thank you. something that you'd like to say, I welcome you. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Like Julie said, this is our second year donating to the library, and we're hoping to continue this relationship with the library. It's great for our employees. It's great for the community. We have expatriates from Japan, and when they bring their families over, their kids absolutely adore the library. So our staff voted on it again this year that we'd like to give back to the library, and the iCube room is one of my favorites personally. So I'm excited to see what is going to come with our donation.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
I'd like to invite you and your employees to set up a tour and a date with me so that we can give more information about the iCube and you can see it. I'll work with my team now to decide what's actually going to be purchased, and then we can respond back to you and give you some information further. Okay? Thank you so much tonight.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate. Do you want to speak a little bit about what the company does? Some of us may not know exactly what you're doing, or a radio audience or a TV audience. You want to speak just a little bit about what the company does, and might perhaps the Ice Cube lead to somebody who used the Ice Cube to work at the company or work together? Is there a connection? Could there be a connection?
So, well, no, there's no connection, but, Shinsho is a steel trading company. So we manufacture, we import steel mostly from Japan and China. We have a production facility up in Grand Blanc, Michigan. We also have facilities like plants and warehouses throughout the United States. So no real connection to the library or to the iCube space, but I think it's, a nice space for the community, as well as our employees are really going to enjoy it too. We're going to work with Julie on setting up an event for our employees to actually come and use that space, as well as one of our, events for our employees.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
We
much.
really it means a lot to us, and you've done this before. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for the continued support. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
At this point on the agenda, public comment. In order to hear all citizens' comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that the speakers respect the 3-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer period. However, it is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the library board. Citizens must state their first, last name, and address. Anybody from the public wish to speak to the library board? If not, we shall move on. Student representative report. Our student representatives are absent today with excuse. Is there any questions? Really, the library director's indicated she may be able to answer some questions.
Happy to answer any questions that you might have about the information. They will be here next month to present their annual report to you about all of the programming that occurred last year, so they will be giving a presentation in August.
And even though they're not here, their report is in our
Yes.
pamphlet,
Yes.
page 16 and 17.
Correct.
Okay. If not, I guess it's my time to do a report. Speaking briefly about MLA, I have to tell you, as long as I've been with this library, on and off for a few years, off for a few years, and back on, our contribution from the state has been about $50,000 a year, as far back as I can remember. It's still about $50,000, maybe up to $60,000. From the state aid.
From the state aid.
From the state aid.
Correct.
And what we have in a report here from the MLA, that what they've indicated is there's a slight increase this year, that they've added $1 million to the overall distribution to the library, which brings it up from all the libraries to 16 million. So it's gone up this year maybe 8%, something like that. But that's kind of the first noticeable increase that I can remember for way, way back.
You are correct, and they have been doing a lot of work. In fact, I shared with you that I attended the Advocacy Day in April to go up and meet with our local representation up at the state for that purpose. It was for us to meet and ask for them to support increasing some of those funds and to be thinking about our public libraries. So I think it was worth it to make that trek up there and spend some time with them and with our local politicians as well. So I truly appreciate. I know that I had very positive responses from Senator Beyer, who I had the chance to meet with, and hopefully we can continue to see that support.
Anything else about MLA or state aid? Questions here? Briefly, just in terms of things that have happened with me that are sort of directly or indirectly related to the library, had the enjoyment of going to the Friends meeting last week, Wednesday, joined by Julie and Dana. We had a very nice meeting. They presented us with an imaginary check for their contribution for this year, about $30,000. And we also acknowledged the execution, or at that time, about to be executed, the agreement that we have with the Friends. So a very good meeting. The thing that was very noticeable to me is that the Friends had friends of friends. I mean, these weren't official friends, but just neighbors and other people that really are excited about the Friends. And I see the group growing and it's catching on, but there were, out of not that many people there were 2 or 3 people, just I'm a friend of so-and-so, and I've decided to come to the meeting and kind of check it out. It's nice to see that.
It is, and I'd like to send just a quick shout out to Sue Johnson. Her leadership with the Friends has been amazing. She's got a fantastic board. They're working very hard. They actually have brought in a couple new members, which you'll be introduced to. And I will be asking Sue to also come to a meeting to provide an annual report in order to share, their accomplishments for the last year. So that'll be coming soon as well. Thank you.
And so the other event that I attended, it's the Song Fest at Paradise Park that the Friends put on. I unfortunately couldn't make it last week, Thursday, but made it the meeting before, and there were a number of other trustees that were there as well. I understand that even last week was one of their best turnouts ever. I mean,
over
standing
400.
room only type of thing, so I didn't make that one, but it's very successful, and another great job that the Friends are doing, which almost directly, maybe indirectly, but almost directly benefits us.
It does,
proceeds that they
absolutely. Yep, it was their highest attendance ever. We broke big records, so over 400 in attendance.
And if anybody else from the board wants to share any events they attended, or things they did, or things that are coming up that may be of interest to us, I open the floor up to other trustees. And Kathy, you have your hand up.
Okay. Well, I was there, and Trustee Bartlett and I sat at the same table for the concert last week for Woodstock. I didn't remember Woodstock myself. I should have remembered it. It was 1967, I think it was. I was busy having babies or something. I don't know. But there was a lot of tie-dye and a lot of flower children in attendance. I didn't know anything about the Magic Bus, and this is the first time we had them. So it was just truly remarkable the way Paradise Park just set up new tables and chairs, just kept setting up the whole time. So it was challenging because I think the Magic Bus has a following, and I'm not sure if their following people ever registered. So I don't think we really had any idea how many people were going to come. Now, next week on Thursday is going to be the Beatles. So that's more my style. I remember the Beatles well. So I hope that we'll have more trustees to come next week, because it's really amazing. And I understand, too, they've added, because people were asking for Elvis to come back, yes, they've added another September date for a concert.
You'll get an update.
So we'll be having that. The other thing I want to mention is the fact that, because I know these fill up fast, so if any of you are interested in the Library on the Road, NPL on the Road, it's a trip. This trip is going to be to Saginaw on Friday, September 27th, and registrations are open now. And I understand that it might already be almost half full. So the trips fill up fast. So if you're interested in that. And the other thing I wanted to mention too is the fact that there is Senior Day at the State Fair. Every Thursday, just of the Labor Day weekend, is free day for everyone 60 and over, as well as veterans. So we have a program, and there's already 912 people signed up for the program already. So we have a program that I'm the chairman of, and then it's free day for seniors all day. So that's Thursday, August 29th, is senior free day for seniors and veterans. If you're not coming for the program, you would need to go to the box office just to get a wristband. Even though it's free, you still have to check in. So that's it.
Any other trustees have anything they want to mention? No? Okay. If not, we're going to move to the treasurer's report. Trustee Bartlett.
Okay, we've got the financials, the preliminary financials are on pages 21 through 24. Page 25, we've got to review some of those boxes because they don't add properly. So we're going to have to review those items. Nothing really has changed over the last report. I went through all the line items. The only real big line items as far as plus revenues are the financials we discussed. Also, since the first of the year, our biggest deficits were the essentially what we all approved in the first quarter for the employee raises, because to keep us competitive and so forth. I'd like anybody to take a look at these, because these are not the final numbers for the year. Basically, the final numbers will come in over the next month or so, with probably our final approval in September. So if you've got any questions on any line item, drop me an email or Julie an email, and we can get clarification from the city prior to we're going to be asked to approve things. And that's it.
Any questions for Trustee Bartlett in regard to our financials? If not, we move to the director's report. Director Farkas.
Page 33, I always like to share first with you the anniversaries that we'll be celebrating with our employees. We are coming up on August, and we have Elizabeth Kopko, who's going to be celebrating 14 years. Elizabeth is a supervisor in support services. Kirsten Malzahn is 7 years, and she is one of our librarians in the Information Services Department. Danielle Major is 4 years, and she's also a librarian in the Information Services Department. Andrew Van Boven is 3 years, and he is one of our shelvers in support services. Austin Weberly is 3 years, and Austin actually started in our circulation department and then moved and received his degree and is now working as a librarian in our information services department. I liked to share that so that you can see how someone might start in our organization, work on their master's degree, and then actually move up into a position that might be available, and that was the case with Austin. So it's great when we can see that. And then Denise Woods is celebrating 1 year, and she is with our information technology department. I have below that information given you a really good snapshot of what our staff professional development day will look like on August 9th. We're closed that day. Kristen Sullivan is actually our HR specialist. This is the first time you're having a chance to meet her this evening, and she was the lead on putting together with our committee what the day will look like. So we're very excited. As you can see, we have a keynote, and we have some breakouts with some really great topics that will be shared. The employee gets a chance to choose which one they would like to go to. We offer 3 different options. Then we're focusing a lot on customer service because we're working on a new customer service plan. We've been working with consultant Marilyn Suttle, and so she's going to be sharing some great information during the day. As you can see, we'll have lunch. We're bringing in therapy dogs to have available if the staff would like to enjoy that during their lunchtime. Then we move into a time management and personality assessment that'll be offered by Jillian Blackwell. And then we have in the afternoon, as a team building and fun opportunity for the staff, we're going to be working with Fleece and Thank You, which is, they actually had their headquarters here in Novi. They've moved to Farmington, just outside the city. But this is an opportunity for the staff to work together in groups of 4. They're going to be making fleece blankets for children who are currently undergoing chemo and cancer treatment in local hospitals in our area. And so we are going to be doing that as a team. And then finishing out the the day with awarding some awards, some funny awards, but then also our annual awards that we have, that we recognize our employees for. I'll make sure that you get that information in your August packet. And Mark is already queued up to attend an awards dinner that we will take those winners to in October. We've tried in the summer, it's sometimes a little harder with vacation, so we moved it into fall to be celebrating those employees. But more information will be shared with you next month. Following that, I wanted to share that I have received an invitation to go to Mayor's Exchange in Kansas. This is the first time that I'm getting the opportunity to do this. I'm very excited to be joining the leadership team with the city. As you can see who's going to be part of the group, I will be able to connect with 2 different public libraries, along with also just learning about their city resources and how we can compare, and then take ideas from those 2 communities back to Novi. So I will be out of the office in September for a few days, but looking very forward to being part of the leadership team and representing Novi in this opportunity. I'm very excited. And then I'm keeping, Songfest and Tuesday Tunes in there for you in case you need the dates. As Kathy Crawford shared, we did add a final presentation or event on September 19th. That is Elvis, and so that will update your flyer and make sure you have a new one so that it continues through September. After that, there are a number of reports from IT, facilities, support services, and information services. I'm happy to entertain any questions. Starting next month, I want you to know I'll be adding an additional report for marketing and communications, and Dana's going to be reporting some great information. We're doing a rebranding, and she's going to be working on a marketing plan this year, which is coming under the strategic plan. So I wanted her to actually have some space in the packet from now on to provide you some great information as well. Any questions that I can answer?
Actually, I have a question on page 38.
38.
The building use.
Yes.
That records people coming into the library, is that correct?
Yes, it does, page 38 and 39, and that's by hour.
Okay, so because we had previously talked about the hours and changing them or whatever, so the hours between 9 and 10, when they show 0, it actually could also have people that came in
In the
between
morning,
8.
yes.
No, this is at night. I'm talking
That would be
about.
our cleaning crew. We're closed at 9. So if you're seeing numbers, it's our cleaning crew going in and out, or at the very
Oh,
end,
okay.
closing up the building. So it's
Okay.
not usage of the building, you should know.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that's our cleaning crew, probably coming in, us closing the doors and getting the last few people out of the building right at that 9 o'clock hour. And I'm going to be working with the team. I appreciated President Stirring, you bringing that comment up last month. I'm going to look at some data. I shared with that information with my management team, and we're going to, look at some information about local libraries, what other libraries are doing as it is resulting in for other libraries and their hours that they're available and open to the community, and see how we compare. I would like to, we will also dive back into the data we have from strategic planning, where we asked a question about hours and what would be more helpful to the community in terms of usage of the building as well. So all of that will come to you before an actual decision would be made. I think it's important for you to look at all the information well in advance. I'm not planning anything anytime soon, but probably by fall, we'll queue you up for that information.
Any other questions for Trustee Crawford?
Thank you. I just wanted to say how happy I was to see the Mayor's Exchange back,
Yes.
in operation again, because I've been on many of those myself, and I know how valuable they are. Not only do you get to see how a city our size operates and some of the ways that they, you always learn something, but there's also an opportunity, and I know I don't need to tell you, for socializing with your own city council. It'd be a great time to kind of slide in information about the ballot, how we want to get on the ballot, and maybe those late night socializing opportunities. You could really make a impact, I'm
I,
sure.
I hear you loud and clear,
Okay.
Trustee Crawford.
Okay, just making sure you know.
Yes,
that-
I
that-
do.
No,
Thank you.
I was really excited because we haven't done mayor's exchange
it's
like
been
this
years.
in a long time.
Yes.
And will you be driving or are you going to be
No,
flying?
we will be flying.
Flying, okay.
And we even got really cool logo wear.
Oh,
Yes,
great,
I
great.
know.
Okay, well, I'm anxious to hear all about that. That's
Thank you.
good.
I'll make sure that you get a full report, but I'm looking very forward to being part of the group that gets to travel.
Great. Thanks.
I have one question or comment in
Sure.
regard to the facilities report. It's on page 45.
Okay.
Keith mentioned that there is a ticket for HVAC mixing box 7. I'm sure we all know which mixing box 7 is, but I'm just curious, is that the lobby in the front?
It is related to the lobby, but it's actually not part of the lobby.
Okay.
So it's, over time, these mixing boxes, because they are constantly being used and running, we run into where a motor will go. And that currently is the case here. We've had some mixing boxes in the past. And since we were doing some very, we've been looking at the lobby, that situation actually has been cleared up. We feel that with the new building monitor system that we upgraded this past winter, and then getting all the mixing boxes and some of the mechanics that go with the building, we are actually running very well the building this year for the first time. So air conditioning is moving. This mixing box, though, is down on the first floor, and it is creating not condensation, but it's not as cool as it normally should be, and so that is affecting that. But it doesn't have to do with the work we did with the lobby, but it is something that we're repairing.
So now at this point, we really don't have to look at some major modifications in the lobby to get the heat there in the winter?
My recommendation is we're going to come into the first winter, so
We'll-
it'll be
we'll
this
know
year.
better then.
We will start monitoring and see how it reacts with the because the building monitor system really didn't get finalized till March, April. So we will have all ears and eyes on this system and the heating this fall and this winter, and we'll be able to determine if making the changes and the upgrade to the BMS, if that's actually made some difference. It did allow us, by upgrading the BMS, it allowed us to look at some dampers that weren't reacting right because it wasn't giving us the signals that we needed to through the BMS system. So I know that there has been improvements already in the building, but it won't be until we actually, experience the winter weather will we know if the heating and everything is reacting like it should be.
Cool, good,
Yep, great question.
good.
I have a question on page number 40.
Okay,
It's related to AST, stepper drives. Looks like the machine was down for 2 weeks.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
That's the
how
first
old is-
time in years that we've had a downtime.
How old is
piece-
the machine?
This is our automated return
Yes,
system.
return
This is
system,
what we
yeah.
call the Bookie Monster.
Yeah.
So it's on the drive up.
Yeah,
We renamed it.
I've seen that, yeah.
It's on the drive up, and so this is a piece of equipment that has now been in the building over 14 years.
14 years.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not under warranty any longer. We do regular quarterly maintenance on it. We have, I don't even want to talk about it because we've had very good success with the machine. But this is a line item that we have queued up now the last 2 budget years, which is a ticket item of just over $100,000 to replace.
Okay.
So we keep watching it, we keep monitoring it, we replace belts when we need to. So we are doing regular maintenance with it, which is part of the budget every year. But this is something to be watching over the next few years, just to see.
So in these 2 weeks, manually you might have done?
We did manually, we had to get things checked in.
Oh, man.
I mean, the staff, it was a
Staff.
lot more work on the staff. This certainly saves major time having this machine in the building. So yes, everything had to be manually checked
Started,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, and the drive up was not available, obviously. It was just our manual, our manual drop that was being used.
It's
Yeah.
not the software driver, it's the hardware.
Yes, it was,
Okay.
yes. So, yep. Yep, it was a hardware failure.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions or comments? Trustee Dooley?
Hello.
Hello.
So I know that we just promoted the new meeting software reservation system, which I'm super excited about.
July 15th.
Yeah. I was wondering, because it kind of sparked my thought, about iCube. Do you think eventually people will be able to reserve iCube online for those things that they need assistance with? Because they have to make an appointment for certain things in there.
So that actually came up in customer service
Okay.
because it was asked. We're looking into it.
Okay.
Right now, it really depends on staffing levels, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, we were just told that our part-time tech assistant is going to be leaving.
Oh, no.
So, that means us, trying to work with other staff to make it, to make those appointments available
Right.
based on staffing. I would like to, but again, it drives from staffing and what we have available. We have to be able to also, depending on what it is that the person needs, you have to have conversations, making an appointment, and then the person saying, oh, I need something 3D printed. It's different from, I need something made with the Carvey or a
Yes.
sublimation, our sublimation machine, which is a yellow, but still,
Right.
it takes some interaction to
Okay.
know what someone really needs.
That's
So
valid.
it's kind of hard to just put out appointments when
Yeah.
there is some conversation that we have to queue up and actually plan for.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I just was kind of wondering, because I also saw that the mystery shopper, the secret shopper program suggested to kind of move some things around. So it'll be really interesting to see the usage.
Yes.
Because I'm assuming that's kind of what they were thinking, is it would promote the iCube more if certain items were closer to the door, maybe?
That, and they wanted the staff closer to the door.
Oh, okay.
And we made that move already. It then, because how they replaced the staff was their back actually was to anyone who walked in the door.
That makes
By
sense.
moving them closer to the door, they're actually getting a
In the
visual
front.
for anyone who's visiting, and then they're actually recognizing the person.
I love
So
that.
that was a positive in making that change.
Is it very often that any resident kind of asks for like a tour of the iCube?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
They
great.
do, and we provide them. For the most part, we've been able to have staff in the room.
Okay.
The particular employee that we had was 27 hours dedicated just to the
Wow.
space.
Yeah.
So we will be looking to fill it because we know how popular, plus we're coming into the busiest time,
I know.
which is our fall time as people plan for gifts and the holidays. So hopefully we can get that position filled quickly.
That's awesome. Thanks, Julie.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? Did I see your hand earlier, Trustee Bartlett? No. I must have been imagining things.
Thank you for your time.
In that case, we're going to move on to our next public comment section. In order to hear all citizens' comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that the speakers respect the 3-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session. However, it is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the library board. Citizens must state their first, last name, and address. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, we will move on. Committee reports. I'm going to ask the chairs of the committee or members of the committee if they want to report anything in regard to the committee meetings other than the matters that we're going to take for board action later on. But anything from the committees that you want to share with the rest of the trustees? Good.
Yes, the Finance Committee met with the Friends regarding QCDs, the qualified charitable distributions people are able to make from their 401ks. We basically agreed on things like essentially marketing language, staying away from actual comments regarding taxable items because taxation is going to be different for each individual, and focusing on marketing the distribution, in that this is a chance for you to give probably more money than you would able to normally, and this is a area to define your legacy. And we also looked at some other material from other organizations that's what they were focusing on when they are marketing these efforts. In the next 25 years, you're going to have the largest transfer of wealth that has ever happened in any economy, and this is an opportunity that you're going to see more and more organizations involved in. We are using the Friends because we do need a 501c3 to transact, to perform this end of the transaction. We're working on scheduling another event with the Friends and an actual manager of retirement funds to try to answer some questions in that area. So stay tuned.
If you look at page 81, that was the language that was agreed upon between the Finance Committee bringing to you. We don't need an approval, but wanted to share that this is the language that will go into our new brochure. I'll actually queue up for you all to have a new brochure in the packet next month, and then I'll make sure that you have copies of it that you can share with people that you know.
Thank you. That's what.
Yes, thank you.
Any other committees want to mention anything? If not, we're moving into matters for library board action. The first item on the agenda for library board action is a revision to the customer service policy, pages 69 and 70. And I think I'll turn it over to Julie.
So this, we met with a couple groups. First of all, our customer service committee and our public policy committee both reviewed these in-house. The customer service committee, because we're doing a lot of work right now on improving and upgrading our current plan. They made some very good, as you can see, edits to the customer service plan that will go with some of what we're working on internally for moving forward. So the recommendations are in red for the board to consider for approval this evening.
I'll entertain a motion from somebody.
Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the customer service policy on page 69. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask our secretary and the mover of the motion to call the vote.
All right. So this time I go first. Trustee Dooley says yes. Trustee Helvangus?
Aye.
Trustee Goalapu?
Yes.
Trustee Stirring?
Yes.
Trustee Bartlett?
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
Yes.
And Trustee Crawford?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
The second item on our agenda for matter of library board action is a revision to a new HR manual. I have to say kudos to a lot of people. Kudos to the trustees on the H&R committee, Dooley and Crawford, for working along with this. All the members of the trustees that made comments, to Kristen Sullivan, who handled the bulk of the paperwork and the comments and the reviews and the edits, and Julie, and I'm sure other staff as well. I know that when I went through it, there was so much material there, I had to take several breaks. I mean, I could not sit down and read the whole thing at once. I had to take many, many breaks, and maybe a few drinks in between the breaks. But anyway, so just kudos to all the work that's gone into this process.
President Stirring, if I can just mention the staff members, because truly they really did put a lot of time. I know I shared with you, this actually was started before COVID, this manual. I mean, we've had good policies, so it's not like we haven't, had good information in place, but this was definitely a labor of love. And we had changes in our HR, position too, which kind of stopped things, because then you get someone new to come in, get them up to speed, and then we started working on it again. But I truly want to thank Kristen. She came in and she took it full force at working with our committee, who has been working diligently for years. So that's Lindsay Gochai, Kristen Abbott, and Kirsten Malzahn. Hillary was also part of it as well, but we know she's left us, so we don't want to mention her. But she was really good on the edits and the grammar. But this truly was a very dedicated, and we do. All of the staff is dedicated, but this team stayed with me. I think they wanted to move to other committees, knowing how much time we spent on these. And we got to a point where we got cross-eyed. We really did. And it was time to then give it to you all, because when you look at it too much, then it becomes pretty blurry. So we're really happy that we could give it to you. Thank you for all the edits and all the suggestions. As you can see, Kristen went ahead then, and you have your initials. You know where you had comments and questions. You got answers back. We called you if we needed something to be clarified, Mark, right?
They always
We were
check
standing
my
in the
handwriting.
office.
They have a little trouble with my handwriting.
We're like, you circled this, what does this mean? So we did, but I thank you, all of you, for your diligence and also getting it back in a timely manner so that we could meet some deadlines. I am so proud of this committee, and I feel so good about finally getting this across the threshold tonight. So thank you for all your edits, thank you for all your time as well.
I'd like to say something. I was going to say pretty much just what Mark said, but, so I won't. But thank you for the little package of flags, the sticky flags.
Oh, yes.
Because when I was looking at this, there were multicolors all over the place, and little notes, and big notes, and
This is, yes, we have the best organization going on ever. So
But-
Kristen really takes
No,
pride in, and it does a wonderful job.
and answering the questions.
Yes.
This was
Yeah.
great.
This is all
I
from
wanted to
her.
know what everybody else's
Awesome,
questions
yeah.
were, because I
This was
went
great.
through
Right.
this, and I'm like,
Really
oh, okay.
We wanted to make sure you had everything as transparent as possible. You can see what people were asking so that you knew upfront what everything related to when it came to the policies. And that is all, that's why I wanted her to be here this evening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you all. Let's go.
So I will ask if anybody wants to make a motion.
We're
We have a
dying.
motion? Or did we already motion?
We didn't
We
motion
did not
yet.
motion, no, we did not motion.
Can I motion to
You,
approve?
Yeah.
you motion again?
Okay.
Who's gonna support?
Support?
Okay. All right.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the HR manual that was distributed to us and is summarized by the changes in pages 71 through 80 in our handout. Any discussion? Any corrections? There's not a chance to make a comment, make a correction. Did anybody catch a typo?
Yeah, anything else?
Yeah, I had one question for one of the questions of mine that wasn't listed in here in the answers, and that comes from the org chart.
Yes.
On the org chart, we list the library network as far as a community and business partnership, which indeed it is, but I don't think I think it kind of limits what our dependency is on the library network. Because the board, over the years that I've been on the board, has asked for various information and things coming back from our IT system. And our IT system is dependent on the library network. It handles all of our library cards, it handles all of our catalog, it handles everything else, and kind of sticking it away from the actual director and operational stuff,
Okay.
I think minimizes it. And I'm assuming that this is going to be communicated to future boards.
Yes.
And I think it should somehow be under IT to a standpoint of, because it is the foundation of our IT system, even though it's not a person sitting out there. It is the backbone of what we do. And I think, I don't want that to be a surprise for future boards and so forth that look at this.
I think that's a great point, and I appreciate you bringing it up. I would recommend it go under admin, though, because it has to have decision-making through the director in
Okay.
order for it to go forward. So if you would entertain that change to follow under admin in the library network and be noticed there, I think that's a great idea.
I definitely believe
Sure.
it needs to be in the green section, so yes.
Absolutely. Yes. I think that's a great
So
change.
I'd ask the member of the maker of the motion to entertain that change. Well,
Yes.
I guess,
supposed to do?
first I'm going to ask, first I said, I think we should leave it open for anybody else that has any changes. But I'm going to put it on a list of changes that we're going to present to the amender of the motion.
We can do them one at a time. If there's other
We
ones.
can do one at a time, okay.
I'd rather do them, somebody get confused,
Sure.
or I get
Okay.
confused. Just more than
Absolutely.
one thing at a time.
Yes.
So
That's great.
So we'd
I'd
ask
ask you
that
to-
friendly amendment.
Would the amender of the motion accept a friendly amendment to move the?
Yes.
And the second
Yes.
motion.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, changes, corrections? There's gotta be some. If not, I'll ask the secretary to call the vote.
All right. Trustee Helvangus,
Aye.
trustee Galalapu,
Yes.
trustee Stirring,
Yes.
trustee Bartlett,
Yes.
trustee Burke,
Yes.
trustee Crawford,
Yes.
and trustee Dooley says yes. Motion passes 7-0.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you.
thank you.
Kristen's like, congratulations.
You gotta see her edits. She's got it. We will now have a shredding party. By the way, I would like to note that anyone, because you were receiving all this information to your homes, there will be an actual copy of the HR policies that will go into the board pack that will be available for public display and to review. So just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is no communications. What I would just like to mention, mostly for our viewing audience, is that, as discussed earlier, there's going to be a staff professional development day on August 9. That means the library is going to be closed. If you were planning on attending, that's a staff professional day. The library's not open on the 9th. And with that, I'll welcome a motion to adjourn.
Could I add?
I'm sorry, let me hold.
If you don't
Director
mind if I
Park has
add,
something to say.
yes, one more thing, which is exciting to piggyback to the August 9th. That is also the same day that we will begin and end, because it'll happen on the 8th and 9th, most of the renovation to the teen area on the second floor. Just a couple furniture will take a little longer, and the door, but most of the actual renovation and painting will occur between the 8th through the 13th. And we'll be ready for school to start on the 26th of August, as they're starting before the Labor Day holiday this year. So thank you.
Very nice.
Now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Do it by affirmation? All in favor?
Aye.